The sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of pink and orange, casting a warm glow over Serenity Bay. The quaint coastal town was renowned for its picturesque harbor, where wooden boats rocked gently on the waves, and fishermen returned from their daily toil with tales of the sea. Here life moved at the pace of the tides, and each morning brought with it a sense of renewal. Among the town's residents, the sea was both a provider and a mystery, a tapestry woven with stories of adventure and lost souls. In a small boat shed tucked along the shore, a young woman named Mira was busy preparing her beloved vessel, the Wave Rider, for yet another exploration. With sun-kissed hair and freckles that danced across her nose, she was a spark of energy, always chasing the horizon. Her father had been a fisherman, teaching her the ropes of the sea, while her mother, a retired marine biologist, instilled in her a deep reverence for the ocean's seek. Ritz Mira was not just known for her fierce spirit, but also for her genuine love for the ocean's creatures, big and small. On each excursion, she carried a small notebook, sketching the splendid creatures she encountered. Colorful pair, atfish, elusive, octopus, and an assortment of seabirds that called the area home. But this expedition was different. Her excitement bubbled over like the surf as she prepared for an adventure she could not quite articulate. "Hey kiddo, what's on the agenda today?" called out Tom, her best friend and first mate, as he approached a balmy breeze tousling his sandy brown hair. Tom had known Mira since childhood. Their shared memories were like a favor. It book familiar, warm, and full of tales that never became old. Head watched her evolve from a spunky girl, always nagging him to fish with her, a strong-willed woman ready to conquer the unknown, just the usual exploring the North Cove. "I heard there are some interesting rock formations out there," Mira replied, her eyes sparkling. "Maybe we'll find some treasure." She laughed, the sound bubbling like the gentle waves lapping at the dock. Tom chuckled, adjusting the cap on his head. "Last time you thought you found treasure, it turned out to be an old fishing lure. But it was a cool lure," she countered, rolling her eyes playfully. "You never know what we might come across. You know how unpredictable the sea can be." A brief silence enveloped them as they both stared out at the horizon, their minds dancing with possibilities. The ocean held infinite wonders, each journey a chance to glimpse something extraordinary. Their friendship was rooted in the thrill of exploration, each adventure an indelible thread woven into the fabric of their lives. "All right, Captain," Tom said with a theatrical salute. "Let's go find that treasure." The two friends worked harmoniously, loading the boat with supplies, snacks, fresh water, and their trusty fishing rods, as the sun kissed the day good. The last light shimmered on the water like diamonds scattered across satin. It was a scene that always filled Mira's heart with contentment. "Remember that time we got lost in the fog?" Tom asked, breaking the comfortable silence as they cast off. Mira laughed, the memory rushing back like an old friend. "How could I forget? We were convinced we'd been swept away to a ghost ship. I was ready to start writing my last will and testament before we found our way back." Tom joined her laughter, his brown eyes sparkling in the waning daylight. "It was a pretty intense adventure. Makes you wonder what else is out there, doesn't it? Maybe today we'll find a real ghost ship." Mira's heart fluttered at the thought. She had always been enthralled by tales of lost ships and their mysteries, often daydreaming of grand voyage. As they navigated the gentle waves, she cowled and helped but feel a sense of magic in the air, an intangible pull that compelled them forward. Hours passed as the two navigated through the nooks and crannies of North Cove, the deepening shadows revealing the majestic cliffs that flanked the shoreline. The excitement of discovery churned in their hearts as they scanned the emerald depths for signs of life and treasure. "Look," Mira shouted, pointing to the water where a pod of dolphins leaped joyfully. "That's a good omen. Well, let's catch ourselves some dinner first before we get too distracted with sea creatures." Tom chuckled as he baited the lines. As darkness draped the bow of the boat, they managed to reel in a few beautiful fish, their laughter and chatter filling the air as they prepared to head back toward the harbor. However, just as they began to turn back, Mira's keen eyes caught a glimpse of something unusual. A wet etched against the apricot sky. Tom, what is that? She asked, her voice rising with curiosity. What? He followed her gaze, and his breath caught in his throat. There, just beyond the jagged racks, lay a ship. An old ship, its wooden frame weathered and worn, entangled in vines, half submerged in the sea's embrace. It looked like it hadn't sailed for decades, yet an inexplicable aura of life surrounded it. Could it be? Mira whispered, an exhilarating rush tingling through her veins. A lost ship. As they paddled closer, the light glimmered on the vessel's hull, a ghostly silhouette in the shimmering water. Her heart raced with anticipation. This was an adventure unlike any they had embarked upon before. What do you think happened to it? Tom mused, whispering, as if afraid to shatter the enchantment surrounding the find. I don't know, Mira responded, but it looks like it holds so many stories we have to investigate. What if it's a treasure ship? With a soft clink, they tied the Wave Rider to the remaining fragment of the ship that jutted above the water. The air was thick with salt and whispers of the past as they stepped on it. The rotting deck, wonder and excitement coursing through them. The night was cool, the sea's gentle lull pushing them toward the door of endless possibilities. As they explored, the deck lantern light illuminated fragments of forgotten lives. The decaying remnants of fishing nets and crates sat silently, and amidst them Mira spotted something that sent a shiver of hope spiraling through her. A small wooden chest, weather-worn but intact. Mira's heart pounded as she knelt down, brushing the sand and debris from the intricate carvings that adorned the chest. Tom, come look at this. But before he could reach her, a soft shuffling sound echoed from inside the ship. It was faint, barely perceptible, but something stirred in the shadows. Mira turned to Tom, her eyes wide with curiosity and a hint of caution. Did you hear that? He nodded, brow furrowed. Yeah, it sounds like something alive. As a silence settled between them, anticipation crackled in the air. The ship had a heart, beat, a rhythm pulsing from within that felt both eerie and enchanting, sensors tingling, a warm curiosity mingled with a flutter of apprehension unfurled within Mira. What do you think it could be? Tom asked, both awe and intrigue settling in his voice. I don't know, she admitted, but I want to find out. As they stood at the threshold of exploration, light within the ship flickered ever so slightly. Heart, bit of the unknown, the warmth of their childhood comer, utterly intertwined with their shared sense of adventure, knitting them together like the ancient ropes that still clung to the ship's side. It was a moment filled with the kind of wonder that stirred in the depths of the soul, a call to uncover stories waiting to be told. Hand in hand, they stepped forward into the mysteries that lay under the ship's creaking timbers, stepping into a world where hope intertwined with uncertainty, and tales of lost journeys awaited to be rewritten. The adventure was only just beginning as they stepped on the creaking deck of the ship. The air shifted around them, tangled with the scent of salt and mystery. It was a contrast to the familiar aromas of Serenity Bay, yet it was intoxicating and filled with promise. With each step, the floorboards groaned as if welcoming them home, urging them to uncover the secrets hidden within its weathered walls. Mira's heart raced, thumping in unison with the tide pushing against the ship. Stay close, Tom said softly, his voice barely above a whisper as they moved deeper into the vessel. The dim light of his phone flickered against the darkness, highlighting the dust motes swirling around them. Inside, the ship felt as if it had been forgotten by time, a museum of memories waiting to be unveiled. Old ropes hung lifelessly from the rafters. Crates filled with remnants of days long gone lay scattered among the dust. Mira crouched to inspect the small chest again, her fingers brushing against its surface, feeling the delicate engravings, an anchor entwined with floral designs. It felt almost mesmerizing under her fingertips. Promise me. Well, be careful, Tom said, eyes scanning the dimly lit corners of the cabin. We don't know what else this ship holds. His protective nature brought a warmth to Mira's heart, reminding her of how their friendship had endured the tests of time, though sometimes fueled by little more than playful rivalries. and shared ice creams. "I promise," she replied, her gaze never leaving the chest with new found determination. Mira lifted the chest's lid, her heart leaping at the sight of what it contained. Delicate pieces of jewelry glimmered dimly in the soft light, and among them a worn leather journal rested with a frayed spine. "Tom, look at this. This journal must belong to someone who traveled on this ship." Her eyes sparkled with excitement as she held the journal out to him. Tom took it, gently flipping through its weathered page. It might be filled with stories," he murmured, absorbed in the faded ink and sketches of far-off place. Mira's imagination raced, her mind painting vivid pictures of the lives once lived on this ship, parallel adventures unfolding in forgotten corners of the world. As she pulled closer to the chest, a piece of jewelry caught her eye, an intricately designed bracelet with an iridescent shell that shimmered like the ocean's surface in the sun. "This is beautiful," she breathed, holding it up to the light. "It looks like it could belong to someone special." Tom observed a thoughtful frown creasing his brow. "It's like a piece of history, a glimpse of the life that was once cherished." At that moment, Mira felt a sudden longing for connection, not just with Tom but with the unseen souls who had roamed these decks in a time that felt like a distant dream. The weight of their stories settled on her heart, and she felt an ache to honor the lives that had touched this ship. "Maybe we can bring the journal back to the people of Serenity Bay," she suggested, a spark of inspiration igniting within her. "We could read it together, share the stories. Let everyone know that this place still holds its magic." Tom nodded slowly, his gaze thoughtful. "That might be a good way to honor them. Perhaps we can even track down their families, if they're still around." A comfortable silence enveloped them as they weighed the idea, the flickering light dancing around them like the ghosts of the past. As they emerged from the shadows of the ship into the moonlight, the world felt different. The waves lapped against the hull in a comforting rhythm, and the stars above twinkled like distant friends beckoning to them. An overwhelming sense of warmth washed over Mira, an inexplicable connection to something greater than themselves. Later that evening they returned to the shore, the chest cradled carefully between them like a precious heir. "Let's go to the cafe," Tom suggested, as they headed toward the warmth of Serenity Bay's community hub. "I could use a hot chocolate to celebrate our discovery." The cafe was a quaint little place, located near the harbor, buzzing with laughter and comfort. Its chalkboard sign declared WELCOMEBACKADVENTURERS in bright colors, and inside, the scent of fresh brewed coffee mingled seamlessly with baked goods, pulling patrons in. As they entered, the chime of the bell above the door rang like a gentle invitation. "Hey, Mira, Tom, you're just in time," shouted Lily, the cafe owner, her smile as wide as the horizon. She was a mother figure in the community, with a kind heart and fierce determination to keep the spirit of Serenity Bay alive. "We've just baked a batch of vanilla bean muffins. Want some?" Mira's eyes sparkled. "Yes, please." They ordered their hot chocolates and settled into a cozy corner booth, the warmth radiating through the wooden walls, soothing their excitement as they sipped their steaming drinks. Tom slid the journal across the table. "I can't believe we found this," he said, glancing at the pages filled with stories and sketches of marine life, distant lands, and the people who once sailed the open seas. "Each word is a piece of Moan's heart." Mira nodded, her mind racing with ideas. "What if we host a night at the cafe? A storytelling evening sharing the tales from this journal. I bet people would love to connect and remember the history of the bay." "Sounds like a fantastic idea," Tom agreed, enthusiasm bubbling in his voice. "We could even involve the high school. Who knows, maybe they have projects on maritime history they could share too." As they brainstormed, the dim cafe glowed brighter with the warmth of their ideas blending into something beautiful. Moments later, others began to trickle in, and Mira watched as familiar faces greet one another, sharing laughter, stories, and warmth, like the old woven tapestry of community. "Looks like we're not the only explorers today," Tom said, gesturing to Mr. Jenkins, the town historian, who strolled in clutching his ever-present leather satchel filled with old maritime maps and tales. "Mira, Tom, I heard about your discovery." "Incredible," Mr. Jenkins exclaimed, taking a seat beside them. He was a fixture in the town, his knowledge bridging generations. "What stories do you have for me?" Excitedly, they recounted the day's adventure, the ship, the journal, and their aspirations of bringing the community together to honor the tales that had urged through time. Mr. Jenkins listened intently, his wise eyes glinting with admiration. "I'd love to assist in any way I can," he said, warming to the idea. The youth should carry these stories forward. As their conversation blossomed, Mira realized she wasn't just reclaiming a piece of history. They were fostering connections. They were weaving the past into the fabric of the present, and with each shared laugh and story, the community grew stronger. Echoes of unexpected joy rippled through the cafe, and in that humble space, Mira could feel their collective bonds deepening like roots in fertile soil. The next few days passed in a whirlwind of planning. Mira and Tom spread the word about their storytelling night, and the response was overwhelming. The townsfolk were eager to share their own tales, and those who had come before. The excitement coursed through the community like electric currents, each conversation further igniting the zeal for adventure, history, and connection. On the night of the event, the cafe transformed into a cozy sanctuary. Twinkling fairy lights adorned the walls, casting a soft glow over tables filled with pastries and cups of hot chocolate. Families gathered, laughter mingling with the comforting sound of mugs clinking together. Mira stood at the front, nervous yet exhilarated as she welcomed the crowd. "Thank you all for being here tonight," she said, her voice steadying as she spat at Tom's encouraging nod. "This journey started with a ship and a journal, but it's become so much more than that. It's about the connections we share and the stories that bind us." As the night unfolded, Mira listened in awe as various townsfolk took turns sharing their cherished memories, their laughter, struggles, and the moments that made Serenity Bay home. She found herself caught in a beautiful tapestry of stories, each one unique yet woven together by a common thread of resilience and love. Tom took his turn sharing a humorous tale from their childhood fishing trips, making the audience erupt with laughter. Later, Mr. Jenkins captivated everyone with stories passed down from elders who traveled the seas, their voices echoing through generations. Mira felt the room swell with warmth, a testament to the power of community and the bonds that formed over shared experiences. When it was finally Mira's turn, she opened the journal and read aloud a passage written by someone who had appreciated the sun sets over the bay, reflecting on the beauty of nature. With every word she could feel the shared emotions settle over the crowd. They weren't just listening to tales but experiencing echoes of humanity, reminding them of their interwoven journeys. There was a palpable shift in the atmosphere. Initial nerves melted away as the storytelling evening transformed into a collective embrace, a living testament to a tight-knit community. During its roots, as the stories unfolded, so did bands of kindness and connection, strengthening the ties that bound each person present together. As the event drew to a close, Mira felt a surge of warmth swell in her heart. People lingered, reluctant to leave behind the glow of camaraderie that had overtaken the cafe. The laughter continued to bubble like the waves that rocked their beloved bay, and in that moment they were not merely individuals but a collective heart. But it was just about uncovering lost treasures but knitting cherished ties that would last through the generations. As Tom hugged her tightly, she thought about how one unexpected adventure had evolved in countless threads connecting hearts. "Thank you for this," he said against her ear, his voice warm. "I feel like we're just getting started." Mira nodded, exhilaration dancing through her. "There's so much more to discover, not just in the bay, but with everyone around us." As the last of the guests began to filter out, smiles lingering and glimmers of connection sparkling in their eyes, Mira glanced around the cafe, her heart full, ready for anything that awaited them. The tides felt like they were shifting in their favor in the days that followed. As the sun rose and dipped below the horizon, Mira and Tom engaged with their community in ways they had never anticipated. They held crafts night at the cafe and planned community cleanups at the shore inn, using life and laughter in forgotten spaces. They even collaborated with schools to bring in environmental education sessions, stirring excitement amongst the youth about the ocean's beauty. Every kindness they shared was earned tenfold, creating waves of good will that washed over the town. Serenity Bay blossomed with new found energy. Laughter echoed through the streets, and the hearts of the inhabitants throbbed in sync with the tides. Yet underneath the surface of this joy, Mira sensed an undercurrent of trepidation that whispered through the air over the subtle laughter. She could hear tales of dwindling fish catches and increasing storms, a disquiet that seemed to loom larger on the horizon, an echo of challenge is faced not just by the fishermen but by the very essence of their beloved Serenity Bay. One afternoon, while collecting sea glass with Tom, they spoke of the community's changes. "I've been hearing some fishermen talk about how the waters are changing," Tom said, furrowing his brow. "It's not just the catch. It feels like something is off. The currents have been strange lately." Mira nodded, unease knitting through her. "I've noticed it too. The tides aren't what they used to be. It worries me. What if there's more at stake than just treasure hunting?" That evening, as they gathered at the cafe, concerns fluttered through gentle yet anxious conversations like petals carried by the wind. Resilience radiate it strongly from the towns people, but hope strained against the reality of their changing environment, casting a shadow over the warmth that had blossomed through shared stories and kindness. "I've been thinking," Tom said quietly as they cleaned up after a lively community dinner, "what if we combine our storytelling events with environmental education? We could bring awareness to the challenge is the bay face is while also celebrating its beauty." Mira's heart swelled with warmth. "That's a brilliant idea. We could use the journal's stories to emphasize the bond we share with the ocean. It's more than just a place we live, it's part of who we are." And with that, anticipation rippled through her again, a sense of purpose igniting as they prepared to set the stage for a new adventure, one that would not only weave together stories of the past, but also inspire a commitment to protect their beloved bay for generations to come, a story still unfolding, an invitation for everyone to come together as a community and face the unknown together. With found determination, Mira smiled at Tom, knowing they would forge ahead, ready to embrace whatever lay beneath the surface of the endless horizon. The sun began to dip in the horizon, casting a warm golden hue over Serenity Bay as Mira stood at the community hall in trance, a mixture of excitement and nerves swirling within her. It had been weeks since she and Tom had first discussed their idea to merge the storytelling nights with an environmental initiative, and now the plan was ready to unfold. They had spent countless evenings preparing, reaching out to local fishermen, marine biologists, and educators, weaving an intricate tapestry of voices that would showcase their town's rich history while addressing the urgent environmental changes that threatened their shores. Other townsfolk had stepped forward to volunteer, eager to contribute their own experiences and stories. As the bells from the church tower chimed, announcing the evening's arrival, the hall buzzed with energy and anticipation. Mira took a deep breath, considering the journey they had traveled together. What had started as a simple exploration of an old ship had blossomed into a deep commitment to their ocean and their community. Warm laughter and chatter filled the hall, creating an atmosphere that mirrored the vibrant colors outside. People milled about, exchanging stories over cups of steaming herbal tea and shared desserts that glistened on long tables, the scent of cinnamon and fresh apples wafting through air, sparking memories of childhood feasts. They all came together united by a love for their home and the ocean that cradled it. Mira could feel the weight of hope and camaraderie enveloping them, urging her to step forward and embrace the moment. Tom joined Mira at her side, his infectious enthusiasm breaking through the tension that had settled in her chest. "You ready for this?" he asked with a playful smile that lit up his expression like a ray of sunshine. "More than ready. I just hope I can convey how much this all means to me," she whispered, glancing out to the smiling faces. It was the first time so many people had gathered to discuss not only their shared past, but also their hopes for the future. "You'll do great," Tom encouraged, giving her shoulder a reassuring squeeze. "Remember, this is about all of us." As the evening unfolded, Mira took her place at the front of the hall, gazing out at the faces of friends, neighbors, and families, each one a living testament to what it meant to belong to this community. With her heart racing, she spoke, her voice steadying with every word. "Thank you all for being here tonight." She began, the warmth of her smile reflecting the golden hues of the setting sun outside. "As many of you know, Tom and I have been yearning to combine our stories and experience. With the ongoing change we see happening in our bay, this isn't just about our adventures from the past, it's about creating a shared path forward together." The room quieted, eyes on her with anticipation. She could feel their hearts beating in tandem with hers, and a sense of kinship wrapped around them like a warm embrace. "We're fortunate to have so many voices to share," she continued. "We've reached out to fishermen who have spent decades learning the rhythms of the ocean, educators who teach about its wonders, and scientists who strive to understand its complexities. Tonight we want to honor the wisdom in their stories. We want to inspire one another to act, not just as individuals, but as a united community." Encouraged by the supportive nods and murmurs of agreement, Mira welcomed Mr. Jenkins to share his tales, his voice a smooth, warm baritone that painted vivid images of their town's historical relationship with the sea. He wove stories that resonated, reminding them of the interconnectedness of life in the bay, the delicate balance they must uphold for future generations. Every tale shared sparked conversations, threads of thought igniting hope. Town members spoke about their own experience with the ocean, lost catch, beautiful friendships built over fishing lines, the creation of art inspired by the deep blues that cradled their home, and the memories of their fathers, mothers, grandparents, who taught them love for the sea. As the night continued, Mira could feel the community spirit rising, fueled by deep-rooted connections. The stories intertwined, echoing through the walls of the hall, and she found herself smiling at the warmth of belonging. Tom stood and shared his own story about a fishing trip gone, her eye filled with humor and heart, urging the listeners to embrace their resilience and adaptability. Laughter erupted, lighting up the room as he reminded everyone that each twist and turn of their journeys, whether they were filled with joy or struggle, had the power to shape who they were. Hours passed, yet no one seemed willing to leave. Conversations flowed like the tides, and when they finally reached the climax of the night, Mira invited the children of the community to share their own stories. Children stood before the crowd, timid yet eager. Their faces gleamed under the dim lights of the hall, innocence radiating as they launched into tales of adventure and their dreams for protecting their beloved bay for the future. Mira felt her heart swell with admiration, watching them lean into their passions, eyes shining with hope. Their voice becoming a beacon of light that guided their ancestors into tomorrow. The growing connection reached its peak as one of the children, a little girl named Leela, her head crowned with wild curls, spoke with a confident innocence. "And we can plant more trees to keep the water clean, and we can organize beach cleanups." Her words buzzed with a fervent belief that they could change the tide of their future, and the audience responded with applause and cheers, the echo of encouragement filling the hall. Mira and Tom exchanged glance. The recognition of their collective effort reflected in their smiles. This was what they had hoped to achieve, not just awareness, but action, igniting a spirit of responsibility that mirrored the vast nature surrounding them. Here they were, a community woven together, ready to safeguard their oasis. As the night came to a close, Mira stood once more, gratitude radiating from her heart. "Thank you all for coming together tonight. Your stories remind us that we have the power to protect our home. Let's carry these shared voices into the days ahead, not just for ourselves, but for every generation to come. As cheers erupted, she felt a swell of reassurance that their efforts would bear fruit. It was just about a town event, it was a leap into a vibrant future crafted with love and kinship. The event concluded, but the warmth lingered long after the last guest had departed. Tom walked alongside Mira, both content and yet bubbling with ideas that still danced in their minds. "We did it," he said with a wide grin. "We created a spark tonight." "I think it changed something in the heart of the community." A sudden thought struck Mira. Her eyes illuminate it with a new idea. What if we could make this a monthly event? Each time, we could highlight different aspects of our ecosystem, invite more voices to share, maybe even get some artists involved. Tom nodded enthusiastically. "We could even create a community mural celebrating the bay. It could be a beautiful reminder for everyone who passes by." "Yes, and we can involve the schools, inspire the kids to create art that reflects their view of the bay and its ecosystems," Mira exclaimed, her voice bubbling over with excitement. Driven by this renewed vision, they spent the next several days organizing, tapping into the resources and contacts they had built rapidly over the summer. The outreach expanded beyond expectations, local complexities surfacing to create a constellation of voices. Weeks bled into months, each storytelling event morphing into a larger celebration of unity and dedication to their heritage and future. With each gathering, the tides of change ebbed and flowed, and the hall resonated with laughter, new collaborations, and the bright energies of the children and adults alike. The community mural became a kaleidoscope of blue and green hues, waves writhing against intrigue, coral shapes and schools of fish darting through vibrant underwater landscapes. Each brush stroke encapsulated personal stories shared during storytelling nights, every element reflecting the dreams of a community devoted to nurturing its treasures. As they spent countless evenings choosing colors and designs, laughter once again rang out through the warm nights. Tom and Mira found themselves drawing closer, their bond strengthening through shared aspirations and moments of vulnerability. This shared purpose became a treasure of its own, friendship forged in the fire of passion and authentic connection. The labor of love culminated in a final reveal. Everyone came together to unveil the mural that had become the heart of the town. With hands trembling with both excitement and emotion, Mira and Tom stepped back, applause erupting along side joyful cheers as sunlight danced across the newly painted wall. The mural stood as a testament to their dedication, echoing more than just the beauty of their bay. It radiated acceptance, resilience, and unity. One young voice rang out from the crowd, a familiar sing-song tone. "Look at it. It's alive." Laughter erupted around them as Mira felt tears prick her eyes. It was alive, filled with all the hopes, dreams, and stories of individuals coming together as one. An artist approached with tears in her eyes, speaking softly to Mira. "You've ignited something in all of us. Thank you for helping us remember our roots." Mira embraced her community, interlocking in a web stronger than any storm. Underneath the mural, they built a small gathering space, complete with benches and a few picnic tables, adorned with wildflowers, an open invitation for connection. The shared responsibilities of caring for their bay began to take shape as more folks rallied around. They organized beach cleanups, planting events, and educational workshops, expanding into a thriving community effort. Each step forward felt monumental. They were stitching a new fabric onto the history of Serenity Bay, a promise to the future crafted by the dedication of many hands bound by love. In the months that followed, Mira felt an overwhelming sense of joy as seasons slipped silently into one another. With autumn arriving, she took moments to relish the transformative fill of colors painting the landscape, the shimmering reds, oranges, and yellows against the backdrop of blue, creating breathtaking vistas. Dancing leaves twirled through the air, reminding her that change could be beautiful. With Tom by her side, They often ventured to the beach, watching children play under the sun where laughter echoed far and wide. Those days filled with love, laughter, and purpose were woven in't. The very essence of Mira's being. It was what they had achieved together. It was hope manifested in tangible ways, growing roots. One late after noon, Mira strolled down the beach, watching the waves gently lap at her feet, each crest folding in't the other like a warm embrace. It was a familiar rhythm that reminded her of her connection to the land and sea, to the stories that lived within their depths as she nestled on't. A warm patch of sand, a comfortable sigh escaped her lips. Tomorrow, she thought excitedly, they would gather to paint murals around the beach, turning the shore in't a canvas that showcased their hopes and dreams, and it felt like it was just the beginning. In that sun-lit moment, Mira closed her eyes, feeling the warmth of the sun on her skin. She marveled at how far they had come, the ship they had discovered, the journal that ignited conversations, and the deep transformations written in shared stories that kindled awareness. Her fingers toyed with a piece of sea glass she had found earlier, that week, a shimmering green piece catching the light. It reflected their journey anew, reminding her of how every new story, every new voice intertwined with those long gone, creating endless possibilities. With a heart bursting with gratitude, Mira opened her eyes and welcomed the evening breeze. Adventure lay ahead, brimming with hope. And within that moment, she knew that together they could weather any storm, and indeed, they had become stewards of their home. Serenity Bay would thrive. They would sail together toward new horizons, a united front propelled by the tides of love and determination. In the shared warmth of community, amid the laughter and resilience, Mira finally felt at home, an integral part of a beautiful tapestry made vibrant through connection, each thread glowing under the brilliant embrace of the sun, ready to rise with each new dawn.